Hi, my name is Ryan Pettit, and I hope you enjoy this summary of the media history interview with my mother, Andrea Pettit. And to introduce the interviewee, Andrea Pettit. She is employed at Skagit Valley Community College in the HR department, and she is currently taking business courses and other courses at Skagit Valley Community College, working to get her degree. When I asked her to take this interview, she mentioned that she currently was writing a paper on the topic of media history and the evolution of advertising and media, and it would be a perfect fit for her. The first question that I asked my mom was, "What do you remember about advertising as a kid?" And when she responded, she mentioned that TV commercials during her Saturday morning cartoons were the biggest part. She would look at, I'll see all the cereal commercials, the toy commercials, everything that was aimed at kids was in those commercials. And that was her really first sight at advertising on television. And then going forward, we discussed online shopping and other things. And she mentioned that the big thing when she was growing up, her and her siblings would sit around and they would all look at the newest catalog, whether it's from Sears or other stores, and they would all circle what they want. And they would give them to their parents during the holidays, for birthdays. And that was like the main way for that would essentially that was the first wish list online or that you could give to your parents other than just writing it out. Uh, and then also we talked about the disappearance of Sears and the catalogs and how coupon books have kind of become extinct and not really useful anymore. And most of the coupons you can just get by going in or being a member. Set like at Costco, you can just become a member and they'll send you the book of their deals and you just go in and you'll get that deal just because you are a member or just because it's a way for them to get you in without you having to actually bring in the coupons because most people end up forgetting those coupons anyways. After discussing advertising, we went on to the topic of music and her evolution of music from her own eyes. When I asked her about, whether radio was a big part of her life, she mentioned that it wasn't so much radio. Even her mom, my grandma, would not really listen to the radio that much. She would listen to her own records or her tapes. It was more of a music household type thing. They would all turn on music. They wouldn't really listen to the radio as much. And then she said that once she grew up, though, she would try to play her cassettes in the cars, and then much later they would start to do CDs. And she said there was like the things that go in her uh, that you could connect through the cigarette charger or the charger that's in your car, and it would be able to play her tapes or CDs later. And then we also discussed the records situation where people my age, they are, wanting to have records, all the nostalgia that is involved with having records. And we discuss how that it's such a cyclical popularity in society where she is seeing things from her day and age start to make a comeback right now and be the fad or the trend right now. And we both agreed that we don't think that records will ever fully make a comeback and be a main source just because of the ease and price and space of phones and Apple Music, Spotify, and such apps like that. My mom and I then moved on to the topic of television and movies, and the first question was talking about TV size and the what watching TV was like during her time. Because there was more antennas, the TVs were much bigger. As she explained, the TVs were big wood paneled uh, boxes that her mom, my grandma, would set decorations up on top of, and it was kind of just everyone would sit around and watch them together. And then also we moved on to the types of programs and the people that started, and we really discussed that a lot of programs back in her day were either, Saturday cartoons or the news and then some sports. But she mentioned that there was a real lack in diversity back in the day, and that coming to like current times on TV, there's just a lot more diversity and a lot more programs and variety for people to watch. And she believes that that's super important and a good change that she's seen from TV. And also the type of commercials that are very different. Commercials back then were very much, here's our product, why don't you buy it? And then Nowadays, it's this is what we can do, this is who we are, and just the technology that has come along with the commercials and what people can do and what companies can do on streaming applications like Hulu and Netflix, just the type of commercials that they have and advertising, uh, custom commercials per user, per show, interactive commercials, and it's very easy to hit these target demographics that companies want. To summarize the conversation with Andrea Pettit would be to say basically that paperless advertising is taking over, and that's the biggest difference from her childhood is that instead of having a lot of catalogs and stuff to order from, right now it's go get it, go look at it on Amazon, put it in your wish list, and I'll look at your wish list. And then also the fact of that music is so much more different. She was listening to she would listen to records, tapes, CDs, and you'd have to have all these, individual albums and whatnot just to listen to them, and then a big machine to play it on. And now you can have a small Bluetooth speaker that, maybe costs 20 bucks, and you can play it off of your phone, and you have an infinite library on your phone. And so it's just much more ease, that maybe if you want nostalgia, that's still a way to go. But as of right now, the current way that music and everything has been going, that's kind of the way it's probably going to stay. And then similar with TV, where streaming is just so much more widely used now, where on a TV, you kind of have, way back in her day, there was only a few channels, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 channels, and it was news, sports, cartoons, and then maybe a couple other TV shows. But now you have an infinite access to every film, every video that is on the internet, whether that's through YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, depending on what service you use, you just have such more access, and it also creates more access for advertisers and people that want to create interactive commercials of they'll give you an option. Do you want to watch a commercial about this? And it has really changed the game for advertising companies in the way that you need to be advertised to, the successful ways and that they need to advertise to you, and how you're going to act on them. But in all, I think it was a great conversation with my mom, and we both provided a lot of information and insights to one another.